All right, so the last week material we're going to look at is a review. It's 5 different topics covering some stuff on triangles, volume of a sphere, which I'm going to give you the formula if you don't know it, what complementary and supplementary means. Reflecting, I think we did one kind of similar to that earlier in the year, but how to draw a reflection. And then the last one is figuring out what's called a ratio. Right? If you have like a bigger or a smaller version of the same shape, how much bigger or smaller is it? All right, so let's start with the triangle one. So the triangle one, you're pretty much just classifying it. I think these are the 5 words that you're going to come across. So let's start with acute. Acute means in a triangle that all the angles are less than what?
90.
Yep, all less than 90. So all angles less than 90 degrees. How about if you have a right triangle?
One angle equals 90.
Right, so one angle is exactly 90 degrees. How about obtuse? Anyone know what that one means?
None of them equal 90? Only one is greater than 90?
So yeah, one of them has to be bigger than 90. Yeah. So one angle greater than 90. How about scaling? Actually, there's one more word I need to add there too. What does scaling mean? Yeah? Yeah, no equal sides, no equal angles. Yep. So no equal angles or sides. How about equilateral? What does that one mean?
All sides are equal.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of scalene. All sides or angles are equal. And one more word I need to add. Isosceles. What does isosceles mean? It's kind of in between scalene and equilateral. Anyone know what that one is? Isosceles? Wow, Ellie, do you know what isosceles is? No. Help her out. It's a certain number of sides that are the same, but not all of them. Yeah? 2 of them, yeah. So this is when you have 2 sides or angles equal. All right, so the first one, they give you angles of 84, 55, and 41. Out of those 3 choices, is that one acute, right, or obtuse? Yep, that's acute. It's also scalene, but that's not a choice. Right? But all the angles are different. All right, how about, let's look at that one on the right. Classify the triangle by its sides. Right? So they don't tell us anything about the sides, but they do give us some marks on the angles. So it tells us a little bit. Is that triangle scalene, isosceles, but not equilateral, or equilateral?
Isosceles.
Yeah, it's isosceles, but it's not equilateral. It does have 2 sides that are the same. This side and that side. And I know that those 2 sides are the same because these 2 angles are the same. All right, so the sides across from those 2 angles have to be the same. All right, so that's the first IXL. Just classifying a triangle using those, I think those are the only 6 words you're going to see. Any question on the first one? Okay, so the second one is the volume of a sphere. And you're going to need that formula. So the volume of a sphere is 4/3 times pi times r cubed. Does anybody know what r stands for when you're finding the volume of a sphere? Radius. Yep. So all you have to do is fill in what they give you for the radius, put it in the calculator, and that'll give you the answer. Now, here, they're giving you something. Here, they're giving you something a little different. is this? The distance from here to here. That's called the what? The distance from the center all the way to the edge. Up, down?
The radius.
That's the radius. What's this called?
Diameter.
That's the diameter. What's the connection? If you know the diameter, that's not the number you need to fill into that formula. You have to fill in the radius.
It's half of it.
It's half of it. Yep. Okay, so if you know the diameter, you take half of it, and that's the radius. Okay. So that's the number that we need to fill in this time. All right, so on your calculator, they tell you not to use the pi button. Okay, I don't know whether your geometry teacher tells you to use the pi button or not. I usually tell my students when they want to do pi, they just press the pi button. But they're telling you not to do that. They're saying use 3.14. That's not as accurate, so I'm not sure why we're doing it that way, but if you don't do it the way they're saying, it's probably going to mark it wrong on the IXL. So we'll do it that way. So just type in 4/3 times 3.14 times, and the radius in this case is 12. That's how you type it all in. 4/3 times pi times r cubed. And they tell you to round your answer to the nearest hundredth, which means 2 decimal places. So 7,234.56. Okay, let's see what happens if you use the pi button. Okay, you're probably not going to get 0.56. You might get something a little different. Let's put in the same thing again and just make it pi. So this is not how they want you to do it, even though this is more accurate. Okay, so yeah, you would definitely, if you don't use the pi button, you are going to get a little bit of a different answer. It's more accurate, but IXL would mark it wrong. Okay, so use 3.14 if that's what they tell you to do. All right, how about this one? Do I need to take half of this number like I did up here?
No.
No, that's not the diameter, that's the radius. So you're going to fill in the 1 right there. Okay, so all you equals 4/3 times pi, and this time it's 1 cubed. All right, so I'll type it in. Okay, I still have everything from the last time, so all I have to do is change 12 to 1, and that should be what I want. So that gives me a volume of, it says round to 2 decimal places. If you round that to 2 decimal places, what is that going to be? Good. Well, Soleil, what's that going to be to 2 decimal places?
418. Wait, moving right?
So we're going to round to 2 decimal places. We're just rounding that number off.
I'm not sure. Full round.
Yep.
4.20.
So if we're going to round to 2, not quite. If you're going to round to 1, it would be 4.2. But we're not rounding to 1. We're rounding to 2 decimal places. So we need 4 point something something. Yeah?
4.19.
That's going to be 4.19. Okay. So that's going to round up because that number is a 6. So 4.19. And it's cubic yards. They already have the label for you. All right. Okay, next IXL. That one looks at the 2 words complementary and supplementary. Does anybody remember what it means if 2 angles are complementary? It means they add up to something.
100 degrees.
How much?
90 degrees.
90 degrees, yep. So complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. Yep. How about supplementary? Anybody? It's similar. They add up to something, but it's not 90. Yep.
180.
180. Supplementary angles add up to 180. Now, in this one, well, the two on the right, they use the words complementary and supplementary, so you know which one they want you to do. This one, they're not using that word, but they have a symbol in there that tells you which word they mean. In this problem, are they asking about complementary or supplementary?
Complementary.
Complementary, because this symbol right here means that these angles make a 90. Okay, so this one's a 62. How do you figure out what that one has to be if they total to 62?
28.
Yeah, how would you figure that out?
Take 90, then you subtract 62 from it.
Yeah, take 90 and then subtract 62 from it. Yep. So that angle right there is 28 degrees. Let's look at this one. This time they don't give you a picture. They say the measure of an angle is 100. What is the measure of the angle that is supplementary? Remember, supplementary means it has to add up to 180. So how much would that, how big would an angle have to be to add it to 100 to make it 180? Yep. 80. 80. Yep. So that's finding a supplement. And then finding a complement. Okay? It says the measure of an angle is 4.3. Find the complementary angle. Okay. So you might need a calculator because that one's a decimal. Complementary means they add up to how much? 90. So what would I do with 4.3 to get the answer? Yeah. Perfect. Subtract it from 90. Yep. So 90 minus 4.3. So the complementary angle is 85.7. So that's the IXL on complementary and supplementary angles. Okay, so I'll have calculators in case you need to do a decimal like that. Okay, second to last IXL. We've done one like this before. It is reflecting. Okay, easiest way to reflect something is first imagine the line they're telling you to reflect over. So in the one that's orange, they're telling me to reflect over what? What's the line that I'm reflecting over?
Y-axis.
Y-axis. Yep. So I'm just going to imagine a line right there. Okay. Easiest way to reflect that is take each point, count how far away it is from the purple line. How far away is S from the purple line?
2.
2. And right now it's 2 units to the
Left.
left. So when we reflect it, it's going to be 2 units to the
Right.
to the right. Yep. So you just make everything on the other side. Okay. R is also 2 units to the left. So that's going to go 2 units to the right. T, how many units to the left is T? 10. So it's going to be right 10. So we'll call that T prime, S prime. That's Q prime. And the last one is, oh no, that's R prime, sorry. And the last one is Q, which is 10 units left, so make it 10 to the right. That's it. That's how you reflect. And then you just draw your shape. I think the IXL will probably draw it for you, or you have multiple choice and you just pick the right one. All right, let's try the one on the right. What are they telling me to reflect over for the blue one?
Y minus 1.
The line y equals what?
1.
Y equals 1. Y equals is a horizontal line. It's a horizontal line right there. Okay, so imagine your line first, and now do the same thing. Just count the distance and then flip it over to the other side. How many units is U from the purple line? 2. And right now it's 2 units which way?
2 units down.
It's 2 units down. So when we reflect it, it's going to be 2 units up. Yep. So 1, 2, and there's U. V is 2 units down, so we're going to go 2 units up. That's V. How many units down is S? How many?
9.
So double check it, or look at the grid line, and that grid line is marked on the graph too. Down, how many units down is it?
Is what?
The point where we're going to reflect.
The purple line?
Yeah, from the purple line. Yeah, remember you're counting from the purple line. Don't forget that.
Alright.
This point right here?
On the purple line.
Yeah. So 1, 2. Oh, I think you were right, Soleil. I'm sorry. 2. I counted wrong. Yeah, you were right. It is 9. Sorry about that. I messed up. So yeah, it's 9 down, so we're gonna go 9 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. And how about T? How many units down from the purple line is T?
9.
9 again, yeah. So we're gonna go 9 up. We used to have to make it so it's a square, and there we go. All right. As long as you count correctly, you'll be okay. And the last one, reflecting over the x-axis. Okay. Which axis is the x? Is that horizontal or vertical? Yep. All right. How many units away is h? I won't count since I have problems counting. 2. It's 2 units down, so when we reflect it, we're going to be 2 units which way? Up. So 1, 2. There's h. Okay. How many units down is f? 9. So when we reflect it, we're going to be 9 units up. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's f. And how many units down is G?
9.
9.
Want me to type my ID in?
Can you scan it? See if that works. So it's 9 units down, so we're going to be 9 units which way?
Up.
Which way?
Up.
Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Still not working. Let's see.
There you go. Try it now. There you go. And that's G. There you go. Okay. So last IXL. Okay, so the last IXL is basically they give you 2 shapes. And you just have to figure out how much bigger or smaller the other shape is. All right. All we have to do when you're comparing them is make sure you compare 2 corresponding sides. Okay, that's the key. So the letters are written in the correct order. So you could compare side DE to side XW. Okay, you could compare the first 2 letters to the first 2 letters. Let's see if we know DE. How long is side DE?
2.
2. Okay, so we know that side's 2. How long is side XW? 8. Yep, we know both of those. If we had picked a side that we didn't know, we would have had to pick 2 other letters that we do know. Okay? You could compare EF to WV. You could compare FG to VY, as long as you pick the same 2 letters in the same spots. So it says find the ratio of a side length in that shape to its corresponding side in that shape. So in DE, we've got a 2. XW is, XW is an 8. That's how you write the ratio, 2 to 8. Or you can write it as a fraction too, 2 over 8. And what would that reduce to if you reduced it? Yeah. So what they're saying here is this shape is a quarter the size of this shape. That's all. That's how you do it. Just make sure you pay attention to the order they want you to compare them. If these two things were switched, then instead of saying 2 to 8, I would have said 8 to 2. Okay? Just whatever order they want me to do it. All right, let's look at this one. So let's pick 2 letters. I always try the first 2. PQ. What 2 letters in the other shape go with P and Q?
H and K.
H and K. So now it's just a question, do we know those numbers? Okay. So PQ. How long is PQ?
3.
3. So 3, 2. How about HK? How long is that one?
9.
9. That's the ratio of the lengths in this side to this side. It's a ratio of 3 to 9. Or, if you do it as a fraction, it's 3/9. And that reduces to? Yeah, 1/3. That means this shape is 1/3 the size of this shape. Or the other way to say it, this shape is 3 times as big as that shape. But they want it as 1/3. Once we type it in on the IXL, we'll just have to see, do they want the fraction, 1/3, or do they want the colon, 1:3? I don't know which way the IXL wants us to type that in, but we'll figure that out once we try one. All right, last one. Find the ratio of the side from triangle ABC to triangle GEF. Okay. So let's start with AB. What letters connect with AB in the other shape? GE. First two. Okay. What's the length of AB?
20.
So AB is 20. What's the length of GE? 4. So that's the ratio, 20 to 4, which we can reduce. If you write it as a fraction, what's 20 divided by 4? 5. That means this shape is 5 times as big as that shape. Now, I don't know if they want us to write it as 5, or they want us to write it with the colon. We'll just have to see when we start the IXL. But that's how you do it. That's it. Those are the 5 IXLs this week. Any questions on any of those? So you've got the last 10 minutes. You can use that time if you want to work on the IXLs. And once you've done the IXLs and diagnostics, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Hager.